Hey, testing. I see you. I can't hear you. Do you have headphones on? Oh, there you go.
Wait, can you hear me now?
I can hear you perfect.
Okay.
Are
Can
you
I go
good to
outside? Here, can you close the door?
how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Thank you so much. I'm glad we got to do this interview.
Yeah, me too. It took a while, but finally we got to do it.
Nice, nice. All right, Maddie. So I'm just going to ask you a bunch of questions, sort of talk about you growing up and how you got into CrossFit and
hmm
how excited you are for the games and what's it like. What grade are you in right now?
I'm a freshman. I'm
Going
about
into
tomorrow's my
going into your
no,
freshman year?
no, I'm gonna tomorrow's my last day as a freshman. I'll be a
Okay.
sophomore next year. Yeah.
Nice. And you're competing in the 14 to 15-year-old division, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Going into sophomore year. All right. So we're just gonna I'm gonna count it off and then we're gonna rock and roll. Are you ready? And I'll do my intro beforehand so you don't have to worry. And then
hmm
we're good. But we're gonna go Maddy Espinoza, right?
Uh-huh.
And you're 15,
14.
14. Okay. Perfect. And what CrossFit gym do you work out at again?
I don't work out at a CrossFit gym. I work out at my coach's house.
Oh, your coach's house. Okay.
Yeah, his in his garage.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Are you ready to go?
Wait, so are you saying that or am I saying that?
No, I'm gonna trust me. I'm gonna start with a little bit of an intro, and then when I
Uh-huh.
start asking questions, just answer away.
Okay.
You
Okay,
ready?
okay. Yeah, I'm ready. Okay.
In three, two, one. What's up, Maddie? How you doing? Thank you so much for being on the After Venture podcast. How you
Thank you
doing?
for having me. Good. How are
Awesome.
you?
So, is this your first podcast interview?
Yes, this is my first podcast interview.
Awesome. So, as I stated in my intro, you are going to the CrossFit Games in the 14 to 15-year-old division. How excited are you for that?
I'm very excited. Making it to the CrossFit Games is something that I've always wanted to do. So finally being able to say that I can make it is like really, really exciting.
And you're only 14 years old. This is crazy, right? And you're in the 14 to
Yeah.
15-year-old division?
Yes.
Awesome. So, most 14-year-old girls are not competing in CrossFit. So, let's actually go back a little bit. Let's start off of how did you get like growing up? Were you growing up and throwing up clean and jerks, or how was sort of your athleticism and your sport venture was like when you were growing up? And where do you currently live at now? You're a SoCal kid, right?
Yeah, I live in Moore Park right now. But when I was younger, I did soccer and jujitsu, and like I did CrossFit in the middle, but I wasn't that into it. But then the more I got into CrossFit, I stopped playing soccer and jujitsu to just focus on CrossFit. So now here I am in Moore Park.
Nice. Now, how did you get
Mhm.
into CrossFit? Did a friend take you to a box? Was your dad lifting? I mean, a lot of kids aren't getting into CrossFit, right? I mean, there's CrossFit kids,
Yeah.
but how did you sort of get taken in there and be like, wow, this is sort of cool. I'm going to start lifting weights.
My mom did CrossFit, and when my mom was going, and I went and watched one time, but I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. But then my sister went, so I was like, okay, now I have to try it. So and then when I tried it, since that first day, I've really loved the sport.
And how old were you when you lifted your first barbell?
11.
Wow. So 11 years old, you're lifting weights, and now 3 years later, you're going to the games in Madison.
Yes.
Pretty crazy. So talk to me. I mean, you're doing jujitsu and you're doing what soccer you said, and then you
Yes.
all of a sudden say, "Hey, I'm gonna really start competing in
Mhm.
CrossFit." How did that start? How did that conversation go with your mom, and how supportive was she and your father?
Um, I don't really remember, but I think they obviously were. I think it was towards Wadapalooza. I think that's when they started agreeing with it because like leading up to Wadapalooza, I had to stay really, really focused and I had to just focus on CrossFit. So I think they were obviously okay with it. So after Wadapalooza, that's when it was just CrossFit all the way.
And then, so what's your training schedule look like? Because you go to school, right? We're recording
Yeah.
this tomorrow is your last day of school
Yeah.
as your freshman year,
Hmm.
and you're going into your sophomore year. So you obviously take 6 classes. Uh,
Yes.
how do you manage 6 classes as a teenager and train and be competitive for the games?
Well, so like I'll go to school, and if I don't usually have a lot of homework, but if I do, I try to get it all done at school. So by the time that I come home, I have time to eat and get ready so I could like be really focused when I train. But if not, I'll do homework after I train. And yeah.
What does your training sessions look like?
Like what do you mean?
Like, I mean, are you on a specific program? Is
No,
your
my
coach having you doing like a lot of strength or is a lot of cardio? How do you get your swim in there? What does that look like for you
okay.
on a daily basis? Or are you 6 days a week, 7 days a week? What does it look like?
Yeah, I'm 6 days a week. So from Monday through Wednesday, it's majority of it's cardio, but it's also like a lot of it's endurance stuff, but with the barbell added to it. And then Thursdays are usually my rest days, and then Friday and Saturday are like high intensity, to where like my heartbeat is really fast, my heart rate's up high. And then Sunday is always swim days, but
Okay.
like hour long swim workouts.
Nice. And
So
you weren't a swimmer, so swimming's something new for you, right?
yes, very new. I am still trying to get the hang of it because it is hard, but I'm slowly getting there.
Awesome. What do you feel like your strengths are going into the games this year?
I act like during the open, gymnastics were something that like I couldn't do. Like I couldn't do ring muscle ups really well and I couldn't handstand walk really well. But since the open to now, I've gotten so much better at it. So we're now like strength and gymnastics are like I'm equally strong in both of those.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then what do you feel like what are some areas that you're really trying to step up your game on right now for the next few weeks before you leave for Wisconsin?
Running, anything that involves running.
You're a soccer player. You weren't a fan of running.
Yeah, just running. But
Okay.
I'm getting a lot better at that.
All right. Good.
Mhm.
Uh, so let's sort of dive in a little deeper here. And you grew up in SoCal, played
Mhm.
soccer, jiu-jitsu, got into CrossFit. 14 years old, you're in a game. Do you have PE in high school right now?
I'm in a wrestling period in high
Oh,
school.
okay. So you get to
Yeah.
wrestle. How did you do in wrestling this year?
I actually never did a match. I started wrestling at my old school because I started at a high school in Bakersfield, but when we moved, I went to a new high school. So I did wrestling at my old school, and then when I went to this one, I was like, oh, I'll still do wrestling. But as the open got closer and like I kind of felt like I would do really well, I had to stop wrestling just because where I would train from like 6:30 to 8 or 8:30 at night, so it was too late to like keep up with all of my schoolwork and do like really good at the gym. So
Hmm.
I actually stopped wrestling, but I'm still in that class like for the lifting and cardio stuff.
Nice. So
Mm-hmm.
we met you, well, the After podcast, and we're connected with Bows and Barbells. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so we met you through a post that CrossFit star and just beast Jamie Higia,
Mm-hmm.
sorry,
Yeah.
posted about you saying that you were sort of getting bullied at school or going through some
Mm-hmm.
difficulties. How is
Yeah.
being a freshman? Because I know teenagers are great, and I know some teenagers that are really mean. But how
Mm-hmm.
is it that, I mean, you're, squatting over 200 pounds and just crushing people. How is it as a young female in high school who's a CrossFit athlete? I mean, you got traps, you got muscles,
Yeah.
you can, stronger than most people at
Mm-hmm.
your school. Did you go through that phase of, I don't want to say getting picked on?
Yeah, I did. Like in the beginning, I think it was because like no one really knew who I was. I was just like known as the new girl. So after people saw me like what I really look like under my sweater, like they didn't because not there's not a lot of girls that look at like me like at my school. So them seeing me, I think it was like different, something that they're not used to seeing. So when they saw me, they saw it as like a bad way, and
Mm-hmm.
then it was hard, like having to deal with that all day at school, going into training. Like it was really difficult to not think about it, to where like some days it would feel like not necessarily a wasted training day, but not as good as others just because I couldn't stop thinking about what people were telling me. So like it was really hard.
So how do you cope with that as a young CrossFit athlete, as a young girl in high school? How
Mhm.
did you get through kids bullying?
I told my parents because for a while I was like, oh, it's probably gonna end. Like I'll be fine. But then it got really, really bad. So I had to tell my parents. And then we went to the school, and that's when my coach James made that post. And I saw like so many people how they supported me, and then how the morning chalk up shared it, and it was like seeing the amount of people that supported me. It made me like not really. It made me focus more on so many people are behind me. Like I can get through this.
And so how did you did kids stop, or did you just ignore
Yeah.
them? Did you get a good group of friends? Did you just squash them? I'm not recommending that, but yes.
Yeah, so actually, it stopped now, and I did have a lot. I had two of my main friends. They were always with me, like helping me get through it. So now that it's stopped, like I get to have normal days at school, and training's going really well too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so how is it as a high schooler and training for the games and just and being a CrossFit athlete? I mean, are your days tough? Is it tired? Are you sitting there in algebra class thinking about lifting? What's your mindset going through this? You talked a lot
As
about I wasn't in the right mind or training days are bad. How do you stay in that right mindset throughout the day to be successful in school and then have a successful training day?
like when I'm at school, like I focus on just school stuff, like keeping my grades up and doing really well in class. But then when I'm at the gym, I'm focusing just on CrossFit. Like I need to do good. So when I'm at school, like CrossFit, of course, does cross my mind a lot, but I'm not really focused on it because I know I'm not training at that time. So when I go to train, it's all I'm thinking about.
Nice. Do you think there's other kids going through the same thing that you're going through every single day? And do you feel that your school or other schools, you feel like people are trying to do something about it and help kids out?
Yeah, I do know someone that is still going through what I had to go through, and I feel like schools should be a lot um, schools should be a lot like more focused on stuff like that because it is hard when most of the time when it happens to people, it's they're the only person in school that looks like muscular.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like school should focus more on those people because they're trying to have fun just as everyone else is, but it's hard when people are just being mean to you all the time.
I hear you. I definitely hear you on that. Well, I give you a lot of props for battling through that and
Thank
doing
you.
really well. Let's sort of fast forward. Talk to me about home life with mom and dad. Huge supporters of CrossFit. You said your mom CrossFit, right? How was that? Are they sitting there? Does it feel good just to say I'm the fittest of the family, or are they your number one cheerleaders? How's that going?
Yeah, my mom and dad are definitely my biggest supporters. Like when it comes to anything, when it comes to CrossFit, when it comes to school, they're always right by my side. Like if I don't have a good training day, they're still really proud of me. And that's really why I push hard in CrossFit because like I really enjoy knowing that I'm making my dad and mom and the rest of my family proud.
Awesome. And is this something that you feel yourself going long term, or do you feel like you want to maybe
Yes.
transition to go something longer than that or in a different sport?
No, my goal is like it all involves CrossFit.
Awesome. So what are some of your goals? What if you had I know, we sat and you talked about them before, but if you had to list a few of your goals down, do you have them listed down? Do you look at them every single day? Is the goals to
No, I think they're my goals, so they like stay on my mind all the time. It's obviously one of the first ones, always obviously to do good in school, and then to make it to the CrossFit Games like every year that I try to go, and to hopefully eventually win, like podium first, and then winning is gonna be my next goal.
Awesome. Now, have you done some CrossFit stalking and look at times from last year on how people in your division did and look at their open times going into the games and seeing
Um,
where you stand at?
Yeah, so like I do some of the games workouts from last year, and I placed actually a lot higher than I thought I would. So I thought that was pretty cool. But this year, the girls that went last year, none of them are going to be there this year in the same division. So it's like I don't know how that's going to go, but I'm hoping it goes better.
Awesome. So you're going against all new competitors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Now, when we talked earlier, you said you don't belong to a specific CrossFit box. That you do all your
Yes.
workouts with your coach.
Hmm.
Does your coach have his own place, or you're a garage workout athlete?
Yeah, I work out in his garage.
Awesome. So, how did you get connected with this coach?
So a while back, a girl from Moore Park, she doesn't live here anymore, but she asked me if I wanted to come work out with her. And at that time, like I was into CrossFit, and I was like, oh, she wants to work out with me. Of course, I'll come work out with her. So I came to Moore Park, and I went and worked out at Automo, which was the gym that James was at. So the day that I went, he coached both of the classes that I went to, and we took a picture at the end. And I was like, and then I found out who he was. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's like really, really strong. And then a couple months later, when we moved over here, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to this same gym. Like I really like this gym. It would be cool. And then like maybe like a week or week and a half into me training there, he asked if I wanted to like go to the side and have him just train me. And I was like, of course, like that would be so cool. And then now it's been since November, and he's
Okay.
been training me.
And do you think that's been
Yeah.
the biggest push to get to that games ready and games level?
What do you mean? Like
Like, is
him?
he a huge cause of you going to that next level? His coaching.
Yeah, because everything he has me do, like if I look back at when I first started with him to now, like I'm a whole new athlete, and I'm like my weaknesses at that time are like a lot stronger now. So
Nice.
without his coaching, I would not be the athlete I am right now.
Nice. So, do you do any or have him do any? Do you do any rituals like before you get ready for a workout? Like, do you have any mantras you might say to yourself, or do you have like a certain stretching routine you go through, or you eat a certain food? Do you have any like daily routines before your training activities?
So like before I train, I just like stretch. Like it's sometimes like, oh, if this hurts more, I'll stretch that more. But before every workout, like I just stand there for like 5 seconds, not even a long time, and then I just like close my eyes and just like think about how I have to kill this workout and what I'm gonna have to do good. And like once I open them, I'm like, okay, I'm ready.
Awesome. Awesome. And then how about after workouts? Do you guys review your performance, how you did, and then what you need to
Yeah,
work on?
yeah, we'll sit there for a while and just like talk about how the training day went, and then we'll do the stuff that I need to work on so I can work on it more, and then the stuff that I did really good on so like I know that I did good, and then after that it's then we leave home and I drink all my supplements and then I get to go to bed.
Nice. Hey, that sort of brings up my next point. So, what are we doing for nutrition? Are you a pretty healthy eater? Does your mom meal prep for you and let you take it to school and all your Tupperware? Or are you eating off that fun cafeteria food?
No, so at first like when I for a long time, not until like a couple weeks ago, I just ate really whatever I wanted to eat, like because at the time it didn't affect me whatsoever, but then once I started to get into like more serious training, I was like I probably should not be eating hot Cheetos and ice cream every night. So so I started to eat like a little bit healthier but not super healthy, and then a couple weeks ago Fiero's Kitchen, they reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to try some of their food out and like eventually look into a sponsorship. So I tried their food out and it is really really good. So that's all like macros. So I'm going to try to count my macros and we're going to see how that goes. So I'm going to
Awesome.
start eating healthier because I realized that the better I eat, the better I train.
Awesome. And so you talked about Fiero's. Any other companies reaching out to you right now since you're going to the games? Did it sort of open the doors to maybe start working on a few sponsorships?
No, not really. Them and then like the other sponsors that I have, they're all helping me.
And well, who are them? Who are they?
I have 2159 gear, and they're my very first sponsor. It was like a year or two into CrossFit that's they reached out to me. I saw them at a competition and they found out that I was 12 at the time. So they were like, "Oh my gosh." Like so then they ended up having a store inside the gym that I was at the time. So and then one day they my mom says that they wanted to meet with me at the gym and they wanted to see me work out to see if like I was like worthy of being sponsored of them. So I'm like put like my best workout clothes on. I do my hair like in braids. So I'm like whatever I do, like I'll be ready. And then I get there and find out that I'm not working out. They just wanted to tell me that I was going to be sponsored by them. So, so I thought that was really cool. And then I have Proven Active apparel. They
Okay.
they sponsored me since I first moved to Moore Park.
Nice. And then how
Yeah.
about any supplement companies take care of you?
Dot Fit, they
Okay.
send me all my supplements. Like those save my life a lot. Like when it comes to training, like their first string that helps me recover a lot quicker, and then all like the amino boost and all that just helps so much.
Okay. And going to the games, obviously you're going to get tons of fun Reebok gear, right? So you're
Oh
excited for that.
yes, yeah, I'm excited to see what the colors are going to be this year.
Are you a nano wearer or are you more of a Metcon person?
I am more of a Nike person,
You
actually.
are. So are you ready to
Yeah.
change shoes and get ready for the workouts in different shoes?
I tried that the other day, trying to like wear Reebok stuff. It was definitely a lot different. Like their shoes fit me so much different than Nike does, and it hurt. Like I have cuts on the back of my feet, but I feel like just because they were, I'm not used to wearing them.
Hmm.
So probably should start wearing them more, so I'm used to that by the time the games come.
Nice. So let's go back a little bit. So being a 14-year-old kid, right, in high
Mm-hmm.
school, training for the games, you made the games. It's been huge. You went through some bullying issues, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you're yoked and you're buff, right? And people aren't used to that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
have you thought about if you had to go back, like you're now where you want to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything different that you think you would have done to lead up to this point, or do you feel everything you've been to has been a reason and it has helped you got
Yeah.
to this point?
Yeah, definitely. Everything that's happened, I wouldn't change anything because everything that's happened to me has helped me become the athlete that I am now. Like because of the bullying and how I was able to push through it, like my mental game is so much better, and everything else, it happened for a reason for me. I see it in that way.
That's great. That's great. And so now that you're here and you're ready for the games,
Mm-hmm.
are you excited to go to Wisconsin? Is the whole family rolling out with you? How's that working?
My parents, I think my sister's going there too, but me and James are gonna drive out there a couple weeks before to Iowa to train with one of the girls that I'm competing against,
Oh,
and
okay.
then we're gonna go to Wisconsin, and then I'll see my parents there.
That's awesome. Are you
Yeah,
excited?
very excited.
Do
Yeah,
students know at school at your school like you're going to the games? Like they're gonna see you on ESPN. Like do they
yeah.
get that? Do they
Um,
get where you're going and what you're doing?
yeah. So like the people that I've told that I'm going to the games, I remember I told one girl, and she went around school telling everyone, people that I didn't even know that I was going to the games. So I thought it was really cool. So then since then, those people like have asked what it was, and I had to explain to a lot of them what like the open is and how to get to the games. And everyone's really supportive of me now, and I'm happy to like have them all by my side.
Awesome. If you could give advice to other kids your age, other girls your age, sort of going through the same thing that you went through and what you're going through, what advice would you give them, you think?
Just tell them to not really listen to the other people. With me, the people that would tell me stuff about me were people that did not work out whatsoever. So it's like it was just their opinion, and they had really had like no say in what they were saying. So my advice would just be not to listen and to keep pushing and doing what they always do because they're better off without those people.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, going to the games definitely is expensive, right? It's not like everyone
Yes.
thinks, oh, you're a pro athlete, you're making all this money. You don't make a lot of money going to
Mm-hmm.
the CrossFit games.
Mm-mm.
Everyone knows that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you started a GoFundMe page, right? Tell
Yes.
me a little bit
Yes,
about
I
that.
did.
Do you know the GoFundMe address? And are you just trying to raise money because the expenses?
Yeah, that's I made one when I went to Wadapalooza, and it helped a lot just because we had a lot more like extra money to spend, and like we weren't like, oh my gosh, these plane tickets are really really expensive. And now with the so we decided to make another GoFundMe for this one, and a lot of people have donated, and I'm really thankful for all the people that have donated. And we're about to reach our goal, I'm pretty sure, but I don't know the address to it.
Okay, no
Like
worries.
the actual.
We'll put it in the show notes for you, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
blast it on social media as well to help
Yes.
you out. And everyone
Mm-hmm.
who's listening, I mean, give to this kid. So I'm going to take a second. I mean, you're
Mm-hmm.
a 14-year-old kid in high school, moved while you're in high school, right? From
Yeah.
one school. So going to a new high school has to be difficult. You get
Very.
bullied, and I mean, and
Mm-hmm.
you could just squash these kids because you're so strong, but I mean, it's hard, right? On a
Yeah.
mental psyche of of a 14-year-old kid, and you get through it and you battle through it. And this is all happening during the Open. Was this or right before the Open? I mean,
I'm pretty sure it was like a little bit before and during.
Yeah, I give you so much props, kid, for being so mentally tough to get through this, and you made it to the games. So a huge congrats. So we will make sure we share everything about you and about your GoFundMe page. And I'm just going to tell every fan, if you're listening right now to the After Venture podcast, make sure you take care of Maddy Espinoza. I mean, this is a kid that, you know, we see so many things going on in today's world with Kate Spade and Anthony Boudreau, and right, people who are struggling mentally, and you are a young female who battled against bullying and has come up on top, and now you're just looking at him going, look at me, I'm going to the games, I am tougher than I ever been, and that's amazing. So great job, and keep it up.
Thank you so much.
Very, very proud of you. So shout outs. Anyone you want to give a quick shout out to? You know, your third period algebra teacher, or, you know, you're just joking. Don't do that. But no, you can't. But any shout outs to sponsors or parents or coaches or friends? Now is the time to get it out. Let people know who they are.
Yeah. So all my sponsors, obviously, because they've helped me like be prepared for everything. My parents for pushing me like so much every single day and making sure that I give my absolute best every single workout. And then definitely my friend Devin, because my friend Devin from school, he helps me a lot. Like throughout all the time that everything was going on, he stayed by my side, and we're still really good friends now. So shout out to all of them.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Once again, people, make sure you reach out to Maddy Espinoza. Maddy, what's your now you're a 14-year-old kid, right? I do know social media and being careful with kids and adults and everything. I'm a huge social media a fan, but at the same time, you know, I want to make sure kids are safe. But if people want to follow you, where can they reach out to you on social media and watch you throughout the games?
So they can follow me on Instagram. Do you want me to say my username?
Yeah, of course. Give people know. You're going to get tons and thousands of followers, hopefully.
Oh, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. My username is Maddy.Espinoza with another A at the end.
Awesome. Okay, so Maddy.Espinoza with 2 A's at the end. And then tell me about this real quick before we leave here. Is your dad doing a documentary on you, Road to the Games? I've seen that hashtag a lot. Are we just doing photos, or how's that working out?
My coach is recording me. Yeah, he records them, and I'm pretty sure. I'm not like actually positive on this, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna put them all together, just like to look back after the games and like I started from this, and this is how it happened at the games. Like, and it's gonna be really cool to see.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Maddy, for being on the After Venture podcast. I wish you the best of luck. Crush it. Don't forget about the little people when you're on that podium, and just go get them. And we're going to promote you and really push your GoFundMe page so we can help you out financially. A big shout out and thank you to Bows and Barbells for taking care of this and introducing us to get you on the podcast as well. But we wish you the best of luck, and thank you so much, Maddy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on this.
All right, that was it. You're done. How was that? Easy, right?
Yeah, that was really cool. I enjoyed that.
Awesome. So what it will be like is this. Tomorrow I will record the intro and the outro, and then I will probably upload it to iTunes either tomorrow night or Saturday. And when that happens, you'll see it on the After Venture podcast on Instagram. We'll tag the crap out of you, and then we'll have it. We'll repost it on Bows and Barbells. And then we'll probably do an email blast on our Bows and Barbells page as well, to start building that content. And so we're going to just really continue to push it. So feel free to repost it and share it when we send it up there. That'd be great. And we will go to the next level, and hopefully we'll get some GoFundMe stuff. I'll go on your Instagram page and grab your GoFundMe, and I will post it in the After Venture podcast links too, as well as the Bows and Barbells links. So hopefully we'll get you some more money and get you donated.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Tell your mom and dad I said thank you so much for letting you get on here. I really do appreciate it. Good luck at your last day of school and finals tomorrow.
Thank you.
Awesome. Have a good one, Maddy. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye-bye.